All right, let's go.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's time for the Welcome to the World of Sports podcast. I'm your host, John Colar.
And I'm your co-host, Braxton Brown. It's been a minute since we did this, but I'm happy to be back. We got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
First,
indeed.
the
We
first
covered.
topic we cover is this Deshaun Watson situation. There's been a lot of craziness going on with that. He got a lot of allegations and cases that he's been facing, and the league has finally come to a decision on what his punishment will be. And that punishment has been 11 games. So he'll be facing 11 games, 11 game suspension. He'll be back week, well, I don't know.
13, I
But,
think.
so, what are your thoughts on the suspension? And do you think it was fair? And do you think 11 games is a good number?
Yeah, I think the suspension was fair because I think that the first suspension of 6 games was a little too, weak. Yeah, because they detailed the details of that report, in my opinion, required more than 6 games. But I thought it was going to be between that 6 and 8 range, but they upped it to 11 games, which I think is not bad because I do think that he should face a harsh penalty. He paid the 5 million. I do think he should face a harsh penalty, but do. I also think he should be able to play this season, considering he sat out a whole season last season. I think 2 seasons out of the NFL would have been unfair to him because but I do think that the NFL got this right this time with the 11 games.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like when I first got the news, I felt like it was a good number. I feel like 11 games was perfect, just because I didn't think 6 games was enough, and I didn't think that like him sitting out the whole season would be good enough because not there wasn't enough evidence to I feel like just certainly say that he should have been sitting out the whole season, and then it also gives him a little bit of time to just I don't know I don't know I don't know, like the people to get used to him being back on the field. I mean, they got some time to process it now, so that'll be a good thing for the league. And then I remember just watching the game, just seeing him on the field week one. I'm not week one of the preseason, and just seeing how weird that felt, just knowing that there was a lot of things over his head. So I'm glad that that got settled. Do you think that he'll have enough time towards the end of the season to come back and make an impact on the team on the playoff run or something like that?
Yeah, I think so because I think with Jacob Brissett, the Browns could win at least 5 to 6 games. So I give them that. By that time, they'll be like around. Their record should be like 5-6 or 6-5. So I think that Deshaun Watson could make an immediate impact if he's the Deshaun Watson of old because I do think he can help them win 6 straight games. You know what I'm saying? Or get them in playoff contention considering we got 17 games. So it just depends on what he looks like. If he's the Deshaun Watson of old, I say yes. But if not, if he's a little rusty, then it would be hard for me to see that he would be able to lead a team to the playoffs.
Yeah, it wasn't like until maybe like a couple of days ago I looked at their roster and seen some like the additions that they got, and I think if he can come back and all those guys are healthy, I think that they could make a run late in the season. Uh, I think I'd stick to around what you said as far as wins, about 5 or 6 without him. Because this one stretch of the games when he's going there, it's like I could see them losing all of those games. It's like
Mm,
uh, Tampa Bay, it's Baltimore. I think the Chiefs in there too. So like I
yeah,
don't
it's
know,
gonna be tough for him. Yeah, it's
but
gonna be tough.
we just gonna have to see about it. But do you think that the league is kind of getting their hands too involved in these legal matters with players getting into certain things? I know it went. They got multiple decisions on it. The judge had to come back and review it and all that. Do you think that the league is kind of getting too much into these legal matters?
Um, to a certain extent, because I think like the NFL should be able to only control what goes on the field, since that's the product that they're paying for, not necessarily with the personal lives of a player. But I also think like in the aspect of it, they do need to know what's going on for off the field for a player because that player is representing their brand. And so like nowadays with everybody being able to have an opinion on social media, if the NFL doesn't do something about it, that's the first organization that people are going to look at, the NFL, because he's one of your players. So why haven't you done anything about it? So now you're going to hear bad mouthing about the NFL. You're going to hear about all kind of stuff. Their sales are going to go down. All the typical things that come with a company when they're getting bad mouth. So it just depends on what happens. But I I don't know. It just depends because I see it from both sides. I see it from both sides.
Yeah, and I want to get to that point that you said about everybody having an opinion. I feel like there was a lot of pressure on the league to try to get this whole situation right, but I don't feel like there was anything that they could have did to where everybody would have been happy about it. I mean, some people feel like he should have never got on the field again. I
Yeah,
mean, it would have been I don't know, like any type of suspension, you would have backlash from some people. So I think that they did the best that they could to try to get it right, and that's all you can ask for in these type of situations. Let the legal teams and legal people handle their business because that's what they're gonna do. That's what they get paid to do, and you can just base your decision off that. So I think they made the right move with it
yeah,
overall.
fact. So if you move into the NBA, if you haven't noticed, I mean, if you haven't noticed, which it would be hard not to, but since we haven't talked on it, Kevin Durant has asked for a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and he's given the owner Joe Tsai an ultimatum: choose him or choose the GM and the coach. Well, Joe Tsai chose the GM and the coach. And he's also given the Nets a list of teams that he would like to play for. But there is rumors that KD could be on his way to Memphis. Do you think that this is a good fit for him? And if not, where would you like to see him?
So personally, basketball wise, I think that the fit is a pretty decent fit, but I think that the only drawback would be if they would have to give up a lot of assets just to get him. Like for example, certain key role players, it could mess up the chemistry. I think if they could bring him on and maybe give up just maybe like throw some picks in there so you can keep those young talent because they already got a good group together in Memphis. They've been playing well. They had a pretty decent playoff run. So I think if you could just bring back most of that group and maybe take away some minor hits, I think it'll be a good fit. But personally, I just think that he should try to run it back in Brooklyn because any team that he goes to, I think that you're gonna have to bust the team up. But what you think?
Yeah, sort of along the same lines. Like you would have to give up too much to just get him, and then by that point he would have nobody to play with. So you know, but sort of like Stephen A said, I'm still this from for a minute, but like he said like if he was the Nets owner, he would at least make him and Kyrie stay for one season, just to see the product of him, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons on the floor. Because if you think about it, we've exhausted all options to get who you want to run this organization, to get who you want to play in this organization. And now, when it all blows up in your face, you want to leave. No, you got to give me at least 1 year so I can see what y'all three did together because I went and got Ben Simmons for you too as well. So you gotta let me see what y'all can do. After that, if we go to the playoffs and get close to winning the championship or winning the championship, after that I'll trade you to wherever you want to go. But for right now, you gotta give me one season. You got yeah,
And then like I just feel like that team has never just seen its full potential and everybody just bought in. Like
right.
it's too soon for them to break the whole team up. I mean, they got good pieces. It's not like I just think that the Boston team that they played, they was just more put together at the time. I feel like if you put them in that same situation, to have to face that team, knowing what they can do and actually like buying into what their schemes is and their plays and all that, I think that they could really turn it around. I think it's just too soon to call it quits with that. But that leads me to another question that I didn't even have written down. Uh, do you think that players are like kind of too empowered nowadays? Like they just want to leave situations as soon as the going gets tough. I mean, what do you think about that?
I've been thinking about that for a little while. But I do feel like it's starting to get that way because now you don't see players even filling out their contract obligations. So then it becomes a problem for the league because now contracts are almost, valueless. People don't honor their contracts. So like now, I do think like the league needs to step in at some point and veto some of these trades or like say, look, y'all got to slow it down for just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all not honoring these contracts. So if you're not honoring the contract, then what is a contract? Because it has no value. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that they're getting a little out of hand with it, but hopefully it comes to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that I see things going, I would not be surprised if we got another lockout because it's just going to be. I mean, the owners have already expressed their opinions about it, and then not only that, but I heard or I seen on like a website somewhere that like Adam Silver, he kind of sticking back towards that too. Like he's not really in tune with what the NBA players are doing as far as leaving these teams and stuff like that. He doesn't agree with it. He said that there will be changes coming forth about the way that these players are moving and not honoring contracts. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see as we do with everything else. So, but oh, go ahead.
Nah, you good, bro.
Yeah, but y'all stick around. We got another Worldwide Sports segment coming up. It's been a minute since we did this. We're gonna give y'all some rapid fire takes, so we'll see y'all in just a minute.
Yes, sir.
All right, so welcome to the World of Sports podcast. We're about to start our Worldwide Sports segment where we hit topics in a rapid fire format. So with the first question, my first question is, do you believe that NBA players should be allowed to play in these pro-am games? I've been seeing a lot of hype about them. I seen LeBron in one. We ain't seen a player of his magnitude in one in like years. So what do you think about that? Do you think that they should be allowed in it? Allowed to play in these games?
Yeah, because I think it's good gear up for the season. I think it benefits these players a lot. It gives these fans an opportunity to see these players in a gym and see these players play basketball. Some of them for the first and only time in their lives because NBA tickets are too expensive. So I think it's good for the game, and I think it's good for the players to get some conditioning in too before the season.
So yeah, I think it's good for the league too. It's good publicity for the league. As long as nobody gets hurt, you never want to see anything like that. People have been coming out to these games, like you said. It's been good for people to get a chance to see some of their, hometown heroes and things of that nature. Like I said though, you just don't ever want anybody to get hurt. I know the GMs and the coaches, they probably be worried sick about games like this because it's kind of like meaningless basketball. You don't want your season to be riding on these NBA players, and it's like, once they go down in this, you didn't even get to see them on your court to play. It's just like it's a scary situation for them, but for us, we happy. We like, man, we get to see our people, so
Right.
It's no worries for us. But yeah, so next topic I have. Do you think the NBA is too friendly nowadays? Like, it's been a lot of players that's all buddied up in the off season and stuff. Back in the old days, they ain't do all that. So, what you think?
Nah, I think the league is good the way it is because if you think about it, a lot of these players they grew up playing AAU together, so they know each other from yay high, So I think that is good for the league. It doesn't bring a lot of animosity to the league either, which could cause for bad headlines. So I think that is good that a lot of these players are friends, because at the end of the day, they're all human. They're all doing this. They're all in it to play a game to earn money. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, I think that it's good that they're friends because you ain't out there at war hating each other. You just playing basketball. So it is what it is. I think that the league is good the way it is.
Right. I agree with that. I just feel like, in some situations, it kind of makes some weird scenarios. Cause I seen a picture with like, it was LeBron, Draymond, and Steph, and they all was holding up 4 rings, but like the two of them rings that LeBron could have had was from the other two people he was
Yeah.
It's just weird. But I think, me personally, I think it's good that everybody's just cool with each other. It's just basketball at the end of the day, and it's no hard feelings at the end of the day as well. So I think it's cool that everybody's cool with each other, and it probably makes for better basketball because you're competing against some real NBA talent, people that you're gonna see in the season, so you know what their moves is.
Right.
But so next question, moving on to football, do you think that the Panthers making Baker Mayfield their official starter is, I guess, a good thing over Sam Darnold? And do you think that he'll, I guess, lead them to a successful season?
For them, I think that it's a good thing because he was the best quarterback out of the options that they have available. So yeah, I think that was a good thing for them. As far as leading them to a successful season, I don't know. I think that he can lead them to a mediocre season because that's all we've seen from Baker. We've never seen him, take that next level. So I think that they'll have a mediocre season. But I think that that was the best decision for them to make as in terms of who was the best quarterback available because Sam Darnold was supposed to be this guy and he's never panned out yet. So I mean, I think Baker was the best because he's proven the most out of the three quarterbacks that they have available.
Right. I think, and I also think he's got a lot to prove himself. Just coming from the Brown situation, nobody really. I don't. I don't want to say they don't give him his flowers, but for lack of a better term, they don't give him his flowers because he did make them a competitive team. I think nobody really brings that up. I know, he had some recent failures, but I think that, it's all things that he could turn around. He did have some injuries. People never talk about that. So I think this is a good situation for him. He got some incentives that he won't reach, but some incentives that make the contract a little bit more enticing. So I think, he got some things to play for, and I think it'll be fun to watch. You think they'll make the playoffs?
No,
Nah.
it's
Yeah.
too much heat in the NFC for them to make the playoffs. That means three teams from the NFC South will have to make the playoffs because we for sure going to the playoffs. The Buccaneers most likely gonna make the playoffs, so that means Carolina will have to make. That would be tough for three teams to come out one division. Yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. But moving on to the next topic, the Ravens are set to offer more money to Lamar Jackson than the Cardinals offered to Kyler Murray. Do you think that this is money well spent, or do you think that this should be switched around? What you think?
Up the money. Lamar need to break the bank. Deshaun got 230 million guaranteed. Lamar, you signed for 231.
Okay.
I don't care what it is. We gotta get more money than Deshaun Watson. Lamar break the bank, don't sign for a penny less than 230 million guaranteed. That's how I see it.
See, my thing is, okay, he did, if I'm not mistaken, get them to not a division, a conference championship, did he not? Or was it division?
The division.
Division, oof. I don't
That's the
know.
only thing, but listen, that's the only thing Deshaun got ahead of him. Deshaun got a conference championship. He ain't got that. Deshaun made it to a conference championship. Lamar ain't never made it to a conference championship. That's the only thing. But I think as Lamar has the potential, the type of potential to, his upside is so high, the ceiling is so high on him that he can break the bank, he can break the mark, he can reset the market. So I think he can sign for 200 for more than 230 mil guaranteed. That's why I'm saying you better break the bank and get you more than 230 million guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way his play style, he really need to do it now because he takes probably more hits than they would like for him to take. So I think if there's any time for him to do it, is right now. If I had to say he should get more than Kyler, I think so. Because it's just
more than Kyler, yeah.
For the things that he's accomplished over Kyler Murray, that's two different leagues. Kyler don't have an MVP. I don't even think they made the playoffs yet, have they?
Yeah, they
Did they
made
make
the playoffs last year, but they lost out in the wild card round.
right? They did. So yeah, I mean, at least yeah, the MVP over him. I think that's just perfect. I think breaking the bank. I mean, Deshaun got 230 with cases pending. So I mean,
Exactly, exactly. Come on now, come on now. We don't sign for nothing less than 230. You hear me?
right.
Nothing less than 230.
Yeah. But yeah, so I agree with you on that. But moving back to some NBA news, I heard a popular topic. Um, Taylor Rooks was talking to Jason Tatum and was asking him. Well, they had a conversation, and it kind of came up. Did they think who they thought was more of a superstar, kind of Kyrie Irving or Damian Lillard? In your eyes, who do you think is more of a superstar?
um, Kyrie, just
Hmm.
because of what he can do on the court, his skill set, I've never seen nothing like it. He's a champion, you know. Dame has potential. I mean, Dame's already a superstar, but he has potential to maximize that if he just leaves to go to another team. He plays in a small market, so he doesn't get enough love. You know what I'm saying? So like globally and thinking about it notoriety wise, Kyrie is more of a superstar to people who watch the NBA than Dame is. If you ask people who Kyrie Irving is, more people gonna know who Kyrie Irving is than they know who Damian Lillard is. If you think about it that way, so I think a lot of that can be changed if Dame would move to a bigger market, but he doesn't want to. And for those reasons, I say Kyrie is a bigger superstar than Dame.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on right now. I feel like Kyrie is more of a superstar, but I feel like his situations have kind of made it to where he could be. Like Dame has never been on a big stage where he could show out like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like he took his
So
team to
yeah, the
finals.
Western Conference, that's
They got
it. That's about it.
even it don't even really make a difference at that point. So I think Dame has had a lot more to overcome, whereas Kyrie's been in winning situations and even some winning situations where he messed up the situation. So
Prime example what they're going through now.
right. So I think they both superstars in their own right, but one is just a little bit more proven than the other. I don't think you could say Dame is a
Yeah,
superstar or Kyrie's a superstar, and then like one is not. Like I think they both good players and stuff.
yeah, yeah, for sure. They're on the same magnet. They're in the same class. I give them that. They're in the same class. They're on the same level.
Yeah. But that's it for our worldwide sports segment. We'll be back with our Black Spotlight segment, and we'll wrap up the show after this. Stay tuned.
Let's get it. All right, welcome back. This is the Black Spotlight segment. Y'all already know how we get down. Each week we take one celebrity or any Black person in general and just give them thanks for what they've accomplished and what they've done for the Black community. So without further ado, I'll let Braxton go ahead and give his.
So my Black Spotlight for this episode, I've decided to choose Bill Russell, one of the pioneers for our National Basketball Association, the NBA. Not only just for what he did on the court, but just what he did as far as like pushing the envelope and the narrative for Black players and them being just more than athletes, but being like pioneers in a way, and breaking barriers and breaking molds that were like in professional sports. Not only did he do that, but he was an outstanding basketball player, winning. I can't even count how many championships he won. It's just it's good to see people like that, and not only that, but he was able to grow old in age. I love to see people grow old and not like die young and stuff like that. He was able to grow old and gracefully, and still talking crap too. I mean, he'd be at these events and talking crazy to these guys, like he would still give them 50. Like I like to see people like that, and it's sad news that he had died a couple weeks ago, but I think it's good that they retire his number, and nothing but thanks to him. Who's yours though?
Indeed. My black spotlight this week is just the guys from the Pivot Podcast, Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, and Fred Taylor. I just want to say briefly, thank you for what you're doing. You're paving the way for guys like us to make a living in this industry, to talk about stuff that we love with the sports and stuff. And I just think that y'all are doing a phenomenal job, as three former players that's able to go back and, get these player side of things, and these celebrity side of things. I think they're doing a good job, a very good job over there with the Pivot Podcast, with the on YouTube and the anywhere else you can get your podcast. But yeah, man, I just think they're doing good, and I just want to give them the spotlight that they deserve. So thank y'all guys. Yes, indeed. But this is all we got for this week. So thank y'all. Don't forget to go to the Welcome to the World of Sports podcast on YouTube and subscribe. We about to be on there. We about to bring y'all these visuals. So thank y'all. Subscribe. And we'll be back next week with more. We love it, baby. We out.